Median savings for a 35-year-old American in 2026 is just $13,000. $13,000, not $130,000, $13,000. That is the middle point, meaning half of all 35-year-olds have more than $13,000 saved, and half have less. Let that sink in for a second. If you have more than $13,000 saved right now, you are already ahead of half of America. But here's the part that should really alarm you, because $13,000 at age 35 is not just a small number. It is a financial emergency disguised as normal life. And I'm going to prove it to you with math that nobody in the financial industry wants to put in front of you. Let's break down exactly what the data says, because there are different ways to measure savings and they tell completely different stories. The Federal Reserve reports two numbers, the median and the mean. The median 35-year-old has $13,000. The mean, or average, is much higher, around $87,000. So which number is real? Both are real, but they tell completely different stories. The mean is high because a small number of extremely wealthy 35-year-olds, the ones who started companies, inherited money, or got lucky with crypto, pull the average way up. The median is the honest number, the number that represents the actual middle of America. And the middle of America at age 35 has $13,000. Here's how the full picture breaks down by percentile in 2026. Bottom 25%, less than $3,000 saved. These are people living essentially paycheck to paycheck with almost no financial cushion at all. 25th to 50th percentile, between $3,000 and $13,000. Technically have some savings, but one major emergency away from financial disaster. 50th to 75th percentile, between $13,000 and $89,000. These are the people who consider themselves financially responsible, actually land. Top 25%, $89,000 to $250,000 plus. These are the people who started early, stayed consistent, and avoided the major wealth traps. Top 10%, $250,000 or more. These are the people who will actually retire comfortably at a reasonable age. So where do you fall? Now, let me show you why $13,000 at age 35 is not just a small number. It is genuinely alarming when you run the math forward. Most financial planners will tell you that to retire comfortably at age 65, the average American needs somewhere between $1.2 million and $1.8 million saved. Let's use $1.5 million as our target. If you're 35 years old today with $13,000 saved, you have exactly 30 years until traditional retirement age. Assuming a 7% average annual return, which is historically reasonable for a diversified index fund portfolio, you would need to save and invest approximately $1,350 every single month for the next 30 years without stopping. $1,350 per month, every month for 30 years straight. That is $16,200 per year, nearly $500,000 in total contributions just from your pocket, not counting investment returns. The median household income in America in 2026 is approximately $78,000 per year. After taxes, that's roughly $5,500 per month take-home. $1,350 out of $5,500 is nearly 25% of take-home pay. Every single month, while paying rent or a mortgage, while raising kids, while dealing with car payments and grocery bills and medical expenses, and every other financial reality of modern American life. For most people, this math is impossible without making serious changes. And here is the darkest part of this entire calculation. The every year you wait, every year you don't start or don't increase your savings, the monthly number gets bigger. Wait 5 more years until you're 40 with $13,000 saved? Now you need $1,800 per month to reach the same goal. Wait until 45? Now you need $2,500 per month. The math doesn't get easier with time. It gets brutally harder every single year. Now, here's what I really want you to understand. And this is the part that separates people who actually fix this from people who just feel bad for 20 minutes and then go back to their normal life. The $13,000 problem is not an income problem. We already proved that in our last video. Middle-class families earn millions over their lifetime and still retire with almost nothing. The $13,000 problem is a timing problem, and timing has one very specific enemy that is silently destroying the retirement of every average 35-year-old in America right now. I call it the decade delay. And once I explain it, you are going to be genuinely angry at yourself and at the system that nobody warned you about this sooner. Here is the single most important financial concept that almost no 35-year-old understands deeply enough to actually change their behavior. The decade between age 25 and 35 is worth more than the 3 decades between 35 and 65 combined. Read that again. 10 years of investing in your 20s is worth more than 30 years of investing in your 30s, 40s, and 50s put together. This is not an exaggeration. This is mathematics. Let me prove it to you with 2 people. Same income, same investment strategy, completely different results. Person A, the early starter, starts investing $500 per month at age 25, invests consistently until age 35, then completely stops. Never invest another dollar after age 35. Total contributions, $60,000 over 10 years. By age 65, person A has approximately $1,020,000, over $1 million, from just $60,000 in contributions, from just 10 years of investing that ended 30 years before retirement. Person B, the late starter, does nothing from 25 to 35, starts investing $500 per month at age 35, invests consistently every single month until age 65. Total contributions, $180,000 over 30 years. By age 65, person B has approximately $567,000. Person B invested 3 times more money for 3 times as long and still ended up with barely half of what person A accumulated. This is the decade delay in action. The average 35-year-old with $13,000 saved is person B. They spent their 20s buying things instead of buying time in the market, and now they're facing a retirement math problem that gets harder every single year they wait. This is why $13,000 at 35 is not just a small number. It is the visible evidence of a lost decade, a decade of compound interest that is gone forever and can never be recovered. So where did the money go? Because here's the thing. The average 35-year-old did not spend their 20s being irresponsible. They did not blow their savings on gambling or drugs or obvious stupidity. They spent it on things that felt completely normal and reasonable at the time. The average 2026 American with a college degree carries $37,000 in student loans. Monthly payments on $37,000 in student loans run between $350 and $500 per month. That is $350 to $500 every month that could have been going into investments, instead going to pay for a degree that may or may not have delivered the income increase it promised. Over 10 years, that's $42,000 to $60,000 that went to interest and principal instead of compound growth. The average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized American city in 2026 is $1,650 per month. In major cities, New York, LA, San Francisco, Austin, Miami, that number is $2,200 to $3,500 per month. Young people in their 20s are spending 35 to 45% of their take-home income on rent alone, leaving almost nothing for savings, even when they want to save. And then there's the invisible one, the one we talked about in our last video, lifestyle inflation. First real job, first real paycheck, first real apartment, first nice car, first real social life with restaurants and travel and experiences. All of it felt earned, all of it felt normal, none of it built wealth. The combination of student loans, rent pressure, and lifestyle inflation consumed an entire decade of potential compound growth for the average American. And now at 35, they're staring at $13,000 and wondering why the math feels so impossible. Here's the part of the video that actually matters, because knowing the problem without knowing the solution is just anxiety with extra steps. There are 3 specific moves that a 35-year-old with below average savings can make right now, today, that will completely change their retirement trajectory. Move 1. The aggressive catch-up. The IRS allows people over 50 to make catch-up contributions to their 401k and IRA above the normal limits. But you do not have to wait until 50 to start thinking like someone who needs to catch up. If you are 35 with less than $50,000 saved, you need to treat every raise, every bonus, every tax refund, every extra dollar as an investment contribution, not as lifestyle money. This is the one non-negotiable rule. Income increases do not become lifestyle increases until you are on track for retirement. Move 2. The 1% monthly increase. Most people fail at savings because they try to go from saving nothing to saving 20% overnight. It feels impossible, so they give up. Instead, increase your savings rate by just 1% every single month. If you currently save 3% of your income, next month save 4%. Month after that, 5%. You will not feel a 1% increase. But over 12 months, you will have gone from saving 3% to saving 15%, and you will have done it without feeling the pain of a dramatic lifestyle cut. Move 3. The net worth obsession. Stop measuring your financial success by how your life looks. Start measuring it by one number: net worth. Total assets minus total liabilities. That number must go up every single month. When net worth becomes your scoreboard, every financial decision automatically becomes clearer. The $800 car payment that looks reasonable suddenly looks like a net worth destroyer. The vacation you are going to put on a credit card suddenly looks like a net worth emergency. The number does not lie. The number does not care about excuses. The number either goes up or it does not. Here's the uncomfortable truth that this entire video has been building toward. $13,000 is not just a savings number. It's a report card. It's the financial result of a decade of decisions that felt normal, student loans that felt necessary, rent that felt unavoidable, lifestyle upgrades that felt earned. None of it was stupid. All of it made sense at the time. But the math does not care about reasons. The math only cares about numbers. And right now, the numbers are telling a story that most 35-year-olds are not ready to hear. The good news, and there genuinely is good news, is that 35 is not too late, not even close. But 36 is harder than 35, and 40 is dramatically harder than 36, and 45 is a completely different financial universe than 40. The window is not closed, but it is closing. Every month you wait, the monthly contribution required to reach your retirement goal goes up. The math gets tighter, the sacrifices get bigger, the options get fewer. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Your future self at 65 is already living with the consequences of what you decide to do with this information right now. The only question is, what kind of report card are they holding? If this video changed how you see your financial situation, subscribe to MoneyTruth, because this is exactly the kind of truth that nobody else is going to tell you.